Art Monk at 6'3", has caught balls in 36 of the 37 games he's played in the NFL. He can really play. And downtown Charlie Brown, in only his first season, 6 touchdowns in 5 games. For the St. Louis Cardinals, it's been the offensive line. Sharp and Robbins, Stephen Bostic, and Dick Gerdorf at center. They have opened it up. Anderson 2 weeks ago, 122 yards rushing against a tough Atlanta defense. Against Philadelphia, Stump Mitchell in for the injured Anderson. Much the same results, 145 yards for the Stumper and 231 total against the Eagles in green and white. And so today, in the city called the Gateway to the West, each team is thinking about the West, possibly the Super Bowl in Pasadena.
CBS Sports presents the National Football League. Today, the Washington Redskins against the St. Louis Cardinals.
Good afternoon, everyone. Frigid welcome to Bush Memorial Stadium in St. Louis. A lot of people have stayed away. 10,000 seats were not sold. But you know something? This is a playoff game. This is a playoff game. Check it out. Remember, 8 teams will make the playoffs in this crazy year of the strike in pro football. Washington needs but a win today to almost be guaranteed they're 4-1 on top with Dallas and Green Bay. Look at that, St. Louis 3-2, and these two teams play each other not only now but the last week of the season. You can see the teams almost eliminated, 3 good teams at the bottom. I'm Tom Brookshire along with Wayne Walker, really a linebacker of 3 decades with the Detroit Lions, 50s, 60s, and 70s. And Wayne, we've got 7 degrees is the chill factor. We got an artificial surface that's a little bit tough down there. But let's talk about St. Louis being at home, though, with a winning team. They beat Atlanta and Philadelphia. Are they perhaps going to have the big hit? Are they ready to handle that kind of success?
I think they're pretty typical of a young team, Tom. There's a point in the season where they don't know how good they are, and then after they beat a couple of good teams like Atlanta and Philadelphia, they may think they are better than they are. Jim Hannafin said he's been guarded about that. He's talked to his team every day this week and said, hey, we beat a couple of good teams, but we've got to do it the same way we got here, by being basic, and that's that offensive line of theirs. Yeah,
they took long drives, and they can consume a lot of time on the clock. Right, let's talk about Theismann. Even though he was sacked 7 times, intercepted 3 times, he's still tough, whether it's a good surface or a bad surface. He's a great quarterback.
No question. He's the main man for the Washington Redskins, and he's off to a great year. Now, the thing that is tough about Theismann, the thing that concerns St. Louis most, and our defensive coach Floyd Peters, is Theismann getting outside of containment against the blitz, against the rush. He was sacked 7 times against Dallas. Peters doesn't think they'll blitz him that much. He doesn't want to leave his defensive backs man-on-man with Theismann running around back there with a lot of time. So we're just about ready to get underway. Let's go now to Tom Brookshire.
Okay, Wayne. Earlier today, by the way, actually it was 10 minutes after 10 for this noon kickoff. Theismann came out in the spy who came in from the cold coat and decided to check it out in his sneaks. Charlie Taylor was out there with him, and right now we've got a start. O'Donoghue for St. Louis. Redskins win the toss. Bring it out. Good field position. Remember, as Coach Joe Gibbs says, this could be the best battle of specialty teams in the entire league. Here's that Redskin offense. Theismann, Joe Washington, Riggins listed, but it'll probably be a single-back offense. Charlie Brown and Art Monk, two great outside receivers. Jacoby, Grimm, Bostic, May, and Stark with Don Warren, the all-purpose steady tight end. That offensive line, by the way, wasn't burned by as many Dallas blitzes as you might have been led to believe. 1st and 10 on the 35 for the Redskins. Monk's in motion. They're running back to the left side. As Riggins slipped, it looks like, he gets out over the 35. Mike Dawson makes the tackle. Curtis Greer helping on that. Big John Riggins, as the St. Louis Cardinals said on their scouting report board, they call him the aging bull, but he's a good one. Elo Grooms, Mike Dawson, Rush Brown, and Curtis Greer with 5 sacks. The new offensive front this year under Peters here at St. Louis. E.J. Jr., Aarons, and Baker, capable linebackers. Excellent in the secondary. Griffin and Allen, Nelson and Perrin, the young safety people, doing an excellent job. Inside trap by Ricky Williams, and it looks like Riggins does not get to the 40-yard line. Charlie Baker met him head on. Again, the weather. This has changed. It's gone down a little bit. Right now, the chill factor is down to a 7. You can roll a 7, you can roll an 11, but it's cold, and your hands, even though today they're better prepared than we were, Wayne, still has a tendency to cough the ball up occasionally. Third down and call it 6.
3rd and 6 for Washington. The ball. 36.
39-yard line. 2 backs in there. Out of the backfield. Both backs are out. Almost enough for a first down. It's going to be close. That's Harmon making the first catch of Theismann's first throw.
And right away we saw the field factor come into play. Number 38, Lee Nelson, the strong safety, went down that time, slipped on the turf as the cut was made.
Official timeout. Measurement.
There's Theismann again, straight drop back. Look at the line stun up front by the Cardinals as they'll loop and twist all afternoon. That's Rush Brown coming around to the right. See Nelson down. He got up, but he was down behind Harmon on the cut.
Floyd Peters told us they're a very low-frequency blitzing team, the Cardinals are, and they plan on staying that way. They're not going to go crazy because Dallas had some luck with it.
Well, they feel that that if Washington does pick up the blitz and Theismann has plenty of time back there, he's going to have 3 wide receivers working against 3 defensive backs with the whole field to work with, and that's trouble.
4th and a couple of inches. And in comes the punting team. Young Jeff Hayes. Boy, the crowd, and it's rather sparse when you think about a team that's in playoff contention for the first time since 75.
Mitchell is deep for St. Louis.
Jeff Hayes is a good punter. There's Stump Mitchell, of course, one of the great return men. He hasn't gotten off a long one yet, but he had a 50-yarder against the Redskins a year ago.
They're concerned about him. Joe Gibbs said this could be the special team battle of the year out here that we're going to witness today. Mitchell killed him last year.
Hayes, a very fine young punter. Everybody counting off to make sure they got 11 on the side. And into the shadows to your right where Stump Mitchell is, it is glazed and frozen because it's sort of wet frozen there.
And the sun doesn't get to it down at that end.
Well, the sun doesn't shine. It's a pretty good kick by Hayes. It's hanging. Stump at the 20. Stump. And look out. Stump Mitchell is outside. There's only Jeff Hayes is the last tackler. He's blocked. Stump Mitchell may score on this. There is a flag on the play. Mitchell scores for St. Louis. There is a flag on the play. Hold the phone. 80-yard punt return, but hold it.
Stump Mitchell down the sideline, but they'll talk it over. Randy Love, the defensive team captain for St. Louis, out there. We've had the ball snapped 3 times on offensive plays.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
Against St. Louis.
And once on a special team, and twice already, people have slipped.
36-yard punt, an 80-yard return. And I don't blame the fans for booing a little bit on that one. You know, I feel like booing a little bit myself.
Exciting
Boo!
play.
I'm just kidding. The officials will set them for you in just a moment so you can write to the NFL office if it's anything you don't particularly like and identify them. There they are, Jerry Seaman, Frank Sinkovich, Leo Miles, Bama Glass, my old teammate from Colorado, Paul Bates, Dwayne Gandy, and Bill O'Brien. Here's the call.
Post-possession foul, number 27, receiving team, illegal use of hands.
That's Carl Allen, the cornerback, gotten involved with somebody. What a costly one. Instead of leading 7-0 with the best punt return of any year almost, you start out on your own 10-yard line. We'll set that line up in a minute. That's Lomax, of course, number 15. High formation. Toss back to Anderson. Anderson breaks out early. Oh, Anderson over the 30. Midfield. Number 32, fortunately not out of bounds. Number 32 for the Redskins. That's Vernon Dean.
Cardinals have touched the ball twice now. 2 big plays. We'll look at it from the end zone. Watch the offensive line up front. They have been excellent all year long for the St. Louis Cardinals. Double tight end formation. 72 Deerdorf from center actually pulls and make a play. Anderson with a straight arm right there gets rid of 1 tackle, and he's down the sideline before hauled down from behind. 64 yards on the run by Otis O.J. Anderson.
Marsh got some good block to tight end too on Mendenhall, huh?
Ready to go now. We're back again live.
1st and 10 on the 26. Anderson cuts back, hit hard, and drilled at the 25. Looked like Manley getting in there. Here's the offense. Neil Lomax, who took over last year, and they've had a lot of success. Wayne Morris, Otis Anderson back in there after a week off. Roy Green and Tilley, excellent receivers in the outside.
Do you think perhaps that Anderson got a little adrenaline from Stump Mitchell's performance last week?
The rookies are Sharp and Robbins. Bostic and Steve are underrated, if anything. And, of course, Deerdorf's an all-pro and now playing center. Morris and Otis Anderson in the eye. 2nd down, 8. Here's a quick draw. Anderson gets outside. Got the 1st down. Gets to the 16-yard line where he's really hit hard by Darrell Grant.
He just made an excellent move on that play, Brookie. And he's down and hurt.
As Otis slowly gets up now. Remember, he had his an arteriogram of the taken out of the artery of the leg and the thigh. If you ever get that hit, it can be very dangerous. He had 122 yards against Atlanta. Took off last week with his investigative diagnosis type treatment. Gets a good hand, and Stump Mitchell will come in. That isn't too bad of a substitution. Here's the defense for the Skins. Mendenhall at left. Dave Butts, the best lineman, at left tackle. Darrell Grant in there now as Perry Brooks is out with a fractured fibula. He'll be out a month. And Dexter Manley, an outside rusher on the outside. Kaufman, Olkowitz, Malott, they'll be used a lot today. And the secondary playing extremely well. Jarris White and Bernadine at the corners superb, and Peters and Murphy have a lot of experience at the safety. Anderson left with 74 yards and 3 carries. It's not bad.
Stump Mitchell, number 30, who had such a great game last week against the Philadelphia Eagles.
Didn't get the 1st down. I stand corrected. 3rd down and less than 1. Short yardage, 3 tight ends. Let's see if they were pulled off or not. Encroachment or offside.
Encroachment, number 72, defense.
1st down, Dexter Manley.
You'll see it now to the right of your screen. Number 72, Manley. Premature movement right across there, and it's contact.
That's right. This is the team that has cut down the penalties. Joe Gibbs said they're, I think, averaging less than 5 a game. Rather interesting to get one on a very vital short yardage situation. 1st and 10. Cardinals are going in. What a start they've had. Higher to tight. The drive. Whoa. Stump Mitchell hit behind the line. About the 14-yard line as Dave Butts buried him.
Butts got a big load out there today. He's the most experienced of that defensive line, and they're counting on him a lot. Darrell Grant will be playing next to him. You see him, number 77, making his 1st start for Perry Brooks. Butts is the kind of guy that'll play the run for you, and you just worry about the rest.
I've seen a lot of right guards decide to retire after they've loaded up in December against Butts.
That's right. They look at the dents in their helmet after watching a Redskins game and think there must be something better.
10:52 left in the 1st quarter. 2nd down. And 13 on the 40. Lomax's 1st pass. Outside. Josh Jenkins and dropped. Incomplete as Roy Green couldn't hang on. Vernon Dean was right there.
Well, the Washington secondary is a good hitting crew. We saw them a couple of weeks ago against the Philadelphia Eagles, Tom, and I was as impressed with their secondary being physical and being there at the same time the ball did and bringing receivers off the football. It's any team I've seen all year, especially the 2 corners.
And Vernon Dean had, 2 interceptions against Dallas in the loss last week. He's learning very quickly.
Young number 32, Joe Gibbs, said he is everything we thought he would be. And he's in there starting as a rookie at a very, very tough position.
Lomax
rookie right there.
Okay, in shotgun is Lomax on 3rd down and a dozen. Good defense by Washington after they got it stopped. Wow. Offsides, it looks like a free one for Lomax. Overthrows. Number 39 coming across the middle. That's Willie Harrell coming across on the swing.
I wanted to say that Lomax isn't actually a rookie, but he only played 7 games last year. And with the strike this year, he really doesn't have a full season in yet, even though he's in number 2.
Dick Liebenstein, young second-year defensive end out of Nevada, Las Vegas. He may be the rookie. I guess he is a rookie. That was a rookie mistake.
Offside, number 78, defense.
Redskins are very unsettled here right now at the start of this ball game.
McGee was the one that jumped. It wasn't Liebenstein then. 7-0. The Jets over Tampa Bay. That's McNeil with a 4-yard touchdown run. Boy, the Jets are staying hot, even in the snow up there in New York. 3rd down and 8 shotgun. Lomax being rushed. Now he likes to do this. Now he's hit from behind as number Tony Peters, I believe the safety man, forced it, knocked the ball out of his arm.
There was just a good second effort by Tony Peters. He came in on the safety blitz down, and he was initially picked up just as he cleared the line of scrimmage, but he kept hustling and finally battled his way to Lomax. You'll see him coming in from Lomax's right on the left-hand side. He'll sneak up there in the gap, number 23. Now there's the block. He's picked up initially, but good coverage downfield. Lomax doesn't have anybody to go to. And watch Peters keep hustling, and get a hand on the football.
O'Donohue lined up for a 16-yard field goal, which will make it a 26-yarder. He's 2 for 2, and 6 of his last 6 is to the right. It is no good. And the Redskin defense, it gave up yardage in 2 big bundles and came out with a big 0 on the board.
That's a tremendous break for the Redskins to give up 2 big plays like that and to come away with no points on the board.
The season is here in St. Louis. The holiday red is being worn. Of course, the St. Louis Cardinals colors are red. And a lot of people stayed home. They've had flooding here in the area and an awful week with the disaster of the Mississippi River coming over its banks. And the team failed to score on that first drive, and there's 10.5 minutes left in the first quarter. Theismann, being rushed, lobs it over, trying to split the zone. Intended for number 87. That's Charlie Brown. A lot of pressure by Grooms and Dawson.
That's O.J. Anderson, who broke away for one long run already here this afternoon. He got hit in the head, and the word from the bench is he's a little nauseous right now. More than likely will be back.
Probably a hangover, really, from all the stuff you have to take to get that arteriogram, huh?
That's why they held him out last week, because of the residual effect of some of the medicines.
Barium and all that stuff you have to swallow. Yuck. Theismann on 2nd down, 10. Good looking throw. Almost intercepted. Caught, dropped by Art Monk. Carl Allen had his hands on it, and so did number 81 for a while.
Good protection for Theismann up front by his offensive line. And pretty good play action fake. This was the play before the play action fake. What game am I looking at? All right, this is Carl Allen. He'll get one hand on it. Then it's almost caught by Art Monk.
Pretty good exchange there. More news on Tampa Bay and the New York Jets. Tampa Bay has scored again. It's now 14-0. 5-yard run by McNeil. 3rd down and 10. The screen's on. The screen to Joe Washington at the 20, at the 15-yard line. Now out over the 30 to the 35. And little Joe looks like has a first down. Allen and Dawson making the stop.
He's a guy you really have to pay attention to if you're playing defense. Number 25, Joe Washington. When they bring him into the game, they want him to have his hands on the football. He did a good selling job on that screen that time. They kept him in the backfield. He waited a couple counts. Looked like he was going to pick up a linebacker as he was blitzing, and then just filtered out in the flat.
A 2nd-round draft choice to Baltimore, and I don't think Bobby Beathard's ever spent one any better than that. 1st and 10 out on the 35, thanks to little Joe Washington. What a player. The handoff reversed to Monk, number 81. He's got good blocking out in front and trips over his own blockers and slides to the 40. All right, let's go to New York City, where Brent Musburger has an update. Brent, you got it.
All right, Brookie, and it is a tough day in New York for a team out of Florida. After a turnover, Freeman McNeil zips to his 2nd score of the day. The Jets lead the Buccaneers 14-0. Warm up the planes. Let's get back to Florida. Back to Brookie.
Boy, our old friend the linebacker's got some team with the Jets, huh?
It does, and again we get a look at Otis Anderson on the bench.
Maybe they should get him inside.
I would think so.
Huh? Monk's in motion. Here's the quick draw play to Joe Washington. Dances through it, is caught at the 40-yard line. Good defensive play by Elo Grooms, he could be in the Pro Bowl this year. You know what? Elo has really played extremely well, hasn't he?
Number 78, of course, so many years with the New Orleans Saints. And while he was there, he caught the attention of Jim Hannafin and Floyd Peters, the defensive coach. They would say that whenever they would look at New Orleans films, whether the score was 30-5 or 40-0, there would be one guy going on New Orleans teams full speed all the time and playing exceptional football, and it was that man right there.
But yesterday, when the workout started, all the tackles had the football. They were quarterbacks and ends couldn't find the football out here. Huh? Grooms is one of them. Here's a wasted timeout as Theismann doesn't want to blow a play or perhaps fumble. A very sophisticated offense that Joe Gibbs has, as the Cardinal coaches were telling me, perhaps the most difficult to get ready for because of recognition. A lot of motion, a lot of action. 8 minutes, my gosh, if a coach caught you putting your foot in the heater, he'd put your head in that thing.
That was Jimmy Hart, though. He's been around long enough to know how to stay warm.
He almost old as we are. A great player, Jimmy. Got his feet warm. It's perhaps tougher when you're not playing than when you are. Charlie Brown's in motion. Here's the pass almost to midfield. Don Warren.
I bring it up because I've already done it twice, Tom, that they're slipping all over the field down there. Again, Ken Green, who is the nickelback for St. Louis, goes down this time. That's Benny Perrin, number 23. You see right behind the official there. Now he's a rookie and calls the defensive signals. We'll develop that later. Watch this pass over the middle. There's the cut. And down goes Ken Green, number 37.
That's the good part of the field. They get down further down into the shadows where Stump came out of a minute ago. Looks like a ring. First and 10, almost at midfield. Redskins keeping the ball in it. Riggins, oh, he's hit hard.
Grooms made a great play.
Actually, Greer took a little bit of a ride. Was that 75 that took a little bit of a ride along there?
Grooms came down from defensive left end that time. Watch him really close down on this play. Elo will be coming down. You'll see the motion go out of your screen. That's the direction Grooms will be coming from, number 78. He closes way down and makes a big hit on Riggins.
It's like the left guard should have trapped him instead of going for the linebacker, huh? Riggins is alone. He's 8th in the all-time rushing list right now. 20 years over, he might be in the number 7th position. Theismann getting a big rush by Greer and gets the ball off to Warren. Warren has it for, I think, a first down at the St. Louis 40. Big pass rush that time. Roger Worley made that tackle.
You got a first down? First down.
Here it is again. Just a marvelous move by Theismann this time. A great athlete. Curtis Greer got an inside rush. He's back there immediately. Theismann knows he's there. He throws on the run and puts it right on the money. Roger Worley, number 22, in there now for Jeff Griffin. Jeff Griffin has a slight hamstring pull. And
Worley, yeah.
The veteran cornerback is in there now playing for St. Louis.
14 years, about as well as I ever saw it play.
Right.
He used to be my fantasy. Outside goes Riggins. Oh, he's hit hard at the 40 and doesn't get much.
Well, you know what it takes to hold him to that?
The aging bull, but he is still some ball carrier. He runs to the left very well.
The aging bull, you call him.
That's what the other teams call him, but they emphasize bull. Second down, and call it 10. 5:39 left. Stump Mitchell just stood everybody up with a first punt return of 80 yards, called back for an infraction. And then Anderson got loose for 64, and yet the Cardinals did not score. Redskins have got a drive going. Walker, the motion tied in. Straight drop back. Screen to the outside. Warren has it over the 40, tipped over his own man, and the flags are down. Warren stepped right on his own blocker, Bostic, the center, who was out there. Aaron's made the tackle. That's called holding. We'll find out who did it. Is that a normal thing on screens sometimes, on draws and screens? Holding?
You wouldn't think so, because all I have to do is bump them once or twice. You figured to hold them out there for a count and let them go, and then move out yourself and get in the flat. But if somebody takes a tremendous inside rush on you and has a free gate to the quarterback, you might want to grab him a little bit just to save him.
Jerry Seaman.
Illegal use of hands. number 66, offense.
Jacoby.
There he is, big number 66 at the end of that huddle, and you'll see him. He is the left tackle here. Good story on this guy. He's 290 pounds. When he was in camp last year, Joe Gibbs thought he was an offensive player. When he found out that, or a defensive player, when he found out he's an offense, he wanted to send him home. But he's turned into a good one.
Big rush. The Theismann stays in there. Washington has it. It's going to be close to the 40-yard line. Boy, taken all the way into the bench, and a lot of tempers flaring in that area right there. A gang of Cardinals got Little Joe at their bench. Somebody's down back here that put the rush on Joe Theismann for St. Louis.
Cardinals down, rookie. I think Rush Brown is down on a knee. Mike Dawson, number 73, I think is just on the other side of him.
They must have collided trying to hit Theismann.
May have.
It's Dawson.
That's Dawson, the big guy they call the dancing bear here in St. Louis. He's not doing any dancing right now.
What a call unsportsmanlike, it looks like, against St. Louis. 2 big penalties they've had so far today. Nullified a punt return, and now it's given the Redskins a first down at the St. Louis 25.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 52, defense.
It's Charlie Baker.
There's Washington. Now, we said you've got to pay particular attention to him when he's in the ball game. But not so much you do this.
Wow, the Lobo got him.
A little extra massage there on the sideline.
Theismann is the numbers there, 5 of 7 for 48. Good drive, and here's the little draw play to Joe Washington. Look out, dancing. Little Joe to the 16-yard line. Junior making the stop barely.
Just an excellent job of blocking up front, too, by number 68, Russ Grimm, the left guard, Joe Jacoby, the left tackle, and then George Stark actually pulled the right offensive tackle on a tackle trap. Watch him coming. He's 2 from Heisman on the right. From Theismann on the right. Now he'll pull to the left. Watch him come. Big guy. Great athlete. Played basketball in college at Columbia and lead Washington through that hole. That's a good pull for a big tackle.
Boy, what a play, too. That Joe Gibbs does have some kind of an offense, doesn't he? Little Joe just sort of hides and comes out of the shadows. Second down, and call it a couple. Riggins looks like he has the 2 for the first down. Stacked up there by Aarons and Grooms. Boy, again, that the Redskin team is just using the clock.
Isn't it amazing when Riggins runs into the line, it just gives and bends a little bit, and the whole thing kind of moves, like the whole pile moves. Floyd Peters was saying that yesterday at practice. You watch the films of Riggins. He'll run in, there'll be a big pile up of about 8 guys, and all 8 guys will move about a yard or 2. There's George Stark, number 74, the tackle who made that fine play 2 plays ago on the pull in front of Washington, and there's Riggins.
Out of Kansas, and probably with the Jets where he was a 1,000-yard rusher. Here's the drive to the left side. Riggins and company moves it inside the 10-yard line. Rush Brown hanging on.
Now, Riggins, without a doubt, one of the strongest ball carriers in the National Football League. This year, working on weights for the first time. Watch the blow he delivers right here after he gets it. He'll put the ball away. Rush Brown will come off a block right there. Now, watch Riggins give him a shoulder right there. Now, that's a 265-pound defensive tackle that he gave that shot to.
I saw him go 65 outside against Dallas one time and outrun a few people, so he can fly it that way, too. Big and fast. That's the worst kind, isn't it? Second down and 7. Monks in motion. Here's the draw play. Little Joe, look at him. Nothing. Good defensive play. Elo Grooms had him by the ankles.
Grooms is just having a great year, and we said just a real underrated player so many years for New Orleans. We talked to him yesterday. He said, I'm going to have my hands full today. George Stark, number 74, is a real good offensive tackle. It's a stunt right here, though. That's not Stark. You see Grooms go to the inside. Stark couldn't get to him as Dawson came out, and he looped right into the play. You'll see a lot of that. St. Louis specializes in it. They'll do it almost every down.
That new defensive coach, the assistant head coach, is Floyd Peters. It's a different-looking defense. Third down and 9. A big play. The dash out to the right side by Theismann. Now he's going to be tackled at the 20-yard line. Rush Brown makes a heck of a tackle on Joe Theismann.
whistle by Russ Brown. He's working against Russ Grimm, number 68. He's right in the middle now. He leaps over a man. Theismann's rolling out right. Brown keeps coming. Good coverage downfield. Theismann can't find anybody to get the football to and just has to eat it right there.
Looked like Say was trying to get the corner and got cut off. Good coverage in there. And now Mosley, who's 14 for 14 going back to last year from the 28 or 38-yarder, and it's no good. The first miss.
It won't be enough for a first down.
Offside, they'll get the kick again.
But
they'll get another
the kick
shot
again.
And so now we rub off the attempt even, I guess, by Mosley, and he will again be trying after 14 successive completions of
He
the
is
kick.
6 away from the National Football League record held by Garo Yepremian, who hit 20 in a row.
Offside. Defense. Right side of the line.
I guess one of the greatest field goal kickers of modern times used to play here, though, Jimmy Botkin.
Yeah. Now he's down there in that shaded part of this playing field where it's frozen and hard, but coming straight onto it, a conventional type kicker, of which there aren't very many left, he's got an advantage.
32-yarder. Boy, that was drilled. Hello there. Just like the number on his back. It's a 3-0 lead. Cardinals trailing, 1:51 left. There are the numbers. Yepremian, the tie salesman, 20 in a row, 16 in a row by Stenerud, Cockcroft, Berniski, and Mosley's there at 15. And Walker, you were somewhere just down, not very far down that.
Yeah, I'm at the bottom of the screen, probably about down on your carpet right now in the living room. I had 6 in a row.
The 27th game in a row that Mosley scored in, too. Jeff Hayes kicking off. He does the kickoff now, which helps Mark on the good run back to the 31-yard line by St. Louis, and a lot of people are pointing at one another. Action picks up. Harrell brings the kickoff back out. Flags are down, and a lot of people got jumped up that time and thought somebody had done him in. We'll get the call from Seaman. It'll be holding on the run back team. Boy, have the penalties hurt the home team today. St. Louis has had 3 big penalties, this being the 3rd one.
6 points taken off the board because of a penalty, just like this one.
Illegal run. Number 52, receiving team during the return.
Okay, we're going to be back in just a moment. 140 desk cameras looking at Floyd Peters as he lectured his defense. Much like an officer of a SWAT team would tell his group to bear down and get with it. 1st and 10 now for Lomax and the Cardinals on the 18-yard line. No points yet. A lot of movement, but no points. Here's the dash outside left. Lomax with a lot of time. Gets away from Butts and hangs it for Slutnick at the 34-yard line. Hoffman finally making the tackle from behind.
Of course, we hate to keep belaboring the subject, but Darrell Grant, who is number 77 in there, playing for Perry Brooks, being double teamed up in there. Watch him move now on the rollout. And this is what that turf will do to you. He makes his cut to try to go back as Lomax rolls back to the right side, and down he goes.
16-yarder as Lomax, again, they call him the eel now because he can't avoid the rush. The one back, the fake, play action. Lomax going for it off. Roy Green makes the catch at the 25-yard line. You won't see a better one.
Roy Green, maybe the best athlete, maybe the fastest player on this team now that Mel Gray has slowed down. Pump fake by Lomax, but this is where he wanted to go all the time. Plan play on the post down the middle, and you don't have to say anything about that catch. He saved it from the turf with one hand.
The 22nd catch, a 42-yarder. You're right. That picture's worth 10,000 words. What an athlete. And a great throw by Lomax. The play action kept everybody off of him. He had the time. Good call by the offense. Jameson's group that sent in the play. Harry Gilmer.
Camera. And by Radio Shack, the computer experts with over 6,500 locations nationwide.
Football in St. Louis. Washington leading 3-0. Now look at that catch again.
Well, as Coach Jim Hannafin said, Roy Green's concentration perhaps is his strongest asset. He's also very fast. It doesn't look it. He runs a 4.5 40. Looks like he's running 4.8 because he's a glider, a long strider.
Boy, what a set of hands. He could play with this baseball team in this city. He and Ozzie would be a pretty good match. The toss back to Stump Mitchell. Mitchell slides, as we were talking about, inside the 25. Take a look at that long shot, Wayne, and explain that.
Well, that's going to be a factor, no question, down at that end of the field. From about the 25-yard line in, going from left to right on your screen, it is going to be slippery. It was wet here all week. Now, you'll see the sun is as high as it's going to get right now here in St. Louis, and the sun never gets over the rim of the stadium to dry that part of it out down there. So it's going to stay frozen. It rained a lot here early in the week. The turf froze. That has never thawed down there where you see the shade.
We're in the winter solstice, right? Well, there's everybody sliding around down there. Second down and 10 of the 24. Almost offside with Mendenhall. A free one, but the flags are down.
Lomax threw that one away, Brookie. Washington had a blitz on that time. Richmond Lott coming from the outside untouched, and he just threw it away. Had no one to go to, but did the smart thing.
Seaman acknowledging the traction might be bad enough to where you're trying to steal a little bit of an advantage, and you might jump. Now, Jim Hannafin and Joe Gibbs, the opposing coaches, used to be head assistants for Coryell.
Well, they actually ran the show on game day.
Offside.
Gibbs would be upstairs.
Number 78, defense.
And Hannafin would be on the sidelines on the headset. And they actually ran the offense and let Coryell work the sideline.
17-0. Detroit has really laid it on Green Bay. Wow. It'll be a real race to the wire yet in this league. Now that we finally got everybody playing again. Minnesota leading Baltimore. Grant said that game would be tough. Here's Stump Mitchell inside. Boy, he's strong. Stump to the 15-yard line. Dragging Dexter Manley with him. A lot of missed tackles against Philadelphia, and a lot of people in Philadelphia said, yes, they were bad tackles, but Stump is very strong in the legs.
Dexter Manley, number 72, great pass rusher for the Washington Redskins. Very quick defensive lineman. Closed down, made a pretty good play that time. It was the strength of Stump Mitchell that got him a couple of yards, but Manley closed down, took on the block by Joe Bostic, and made a good play.
Pretty young defensive club, really, except for McGee and Butts. Manley and Mendenhall are like in their second years. Short yardage formation. Wow, Roy Green looked like he was offside. And Dave Butts, I believe, has Lomax back at the 29-yard line and maybe a fumble. Roy Green might have broken early, number 81.
Larry Kubin is up with the football, waving it around. Let's see what happened. End zone shot. Tilly was in motion, and he slipped and fell again. Now Lomax is looking in the direction of Tilly. There's no one there. He's got to get out of there, and there's the fumble right there on a good rush by Dave Butts, number 65. The scramble is on, and it's number 50, Larry Kubin, the backup middle linebacker, who comes up with it.
Big turnover. And St. Louis has been very careful, giving up fumbles, only 3 all year. Washington has 3 points. Each other, take a look at the remaining games of the schedules. The Redskins have the Giants, New Orleans, and St. Louis back in the capital. Meanwhile, the Cardinals go to Chicago next week, the Giants here, and then they make that trip for that final game. And remember, the teams in head-to-head competition, that's one of the big tie-breaking procedures for playoffs. Misdirection play as Wiggins goes back and gets the play, gets to the 31, and Aaron stops him there. Roger Worley now is playing permanently at left corner. Griffin is out of there. Number 35. We don't know what that
Second and
is. Is that the hamstring?
Full hamstring.
Cold enough to lay on.
Number 22. 7 Pro Bowls he's been in.
When you haven't been out there for a while, it's rather a scary thought, though. I wonder if number 7 will go to work. down a handoff to Joe Washington. Joe slides. Wow. That's when you're really vulnerable for somebody hurting somebody else. Nelson falling on the pile there.
Neither team has had much offensive success down in that shaded portion of the stadium. St. Louis started 2 drives down there.
I'm wondering if perhaps St. Louis will have to stop twisting a little bit, too, with the defensive lineman. Looks like you could get the run on the sides of your shoes and be blocked pretty easily, huh?
They'll go down and they can just forget about you completely. You do have to change your game plan and your strategy and your cuts and maneuvers a little bit more than normal. You have to be a little bit delicate when you make your moves in a situation like that.
3rd down and 8. Theismann, a very dangerous quarterback. He's setting up deep. He's dropping it over to Little Joe. Washington now in the sunlight gets out to the 42. 1st down as Worley makes the tackle.
I just don't know how they can forget about him on defense.
Where does
how he
go,
slips around like that and how he loses himself. But you know he's in there for one reason. We said it before. He's going to get the football when he's in the game. Now he's setting up back there real low. He's so small that the linebackers lose sight of him. He slips out between the guard and tackle spot and comes into the flat. He got down there in that crouch behind the offensive line and you couldn't see him.
Good deep drop by Theismann helped the play. And Little Joe did come right out of the shadows again. 11:15 left before halftime. Theismann, deep drop. He's being wet. Oh, he got it off. It's almost intercepted by E.J. Jr. And Theismann really took a shot at the 30 from Mike Dawson.
Theismann's glad to get that one back.
Wonder what kind of a sweatshirt he's got underneath there. He looks like Santa Claus or something.
Like a sawed-off thermal.
Probably got the electrostatic shirt. Probably plugged in
That's
somewhere.
Sonny Jurgensen in the booth next to us. He's got so many wires, he looks like a rock band. He's doing the Washington radio over there.
Theismann, the numbers on him, 6 of 9 for 58. 2nd down and 10. Ricky Walker, reverse motion, and almost slipping on it. Theismann setting up. Oh, he's got good footing. Theismann slides to almost midfield. Call it the 48. Joe Theismann. The dash, the rollout, the quick setup. Actually, a couple of passes we saw looking at the tapes against Dallas. They had the blitz handled pretty well. And Joe just underthrew a couple of receivers, and they might have beaten Dallas. Flags are down. For you people that might want to know, those numbers on the officials are not put there so they'll know who they are. They know. That's for people to identify them upstairs. Here's Jerry Seaman.
Illegal formation. Number 66 offense was not in the line of scrimmage.
Jacoby trying to get some room to block Curtis Greer, lined up in the backfield. You know, you can almost call it on every passing down on offensive tackles. They try to get some room between them and the defensive end, and 9 times out of 10 you'll look back on a sure passing down and the tackle's feet will be further back than the quarterback's.
Just a little bit of an edge. They're back there again. You're right. 2nd down and 15. Here's the dash outside. Now it's a screen. Back to Joe Washington. Joe Washington falls down, gets back up. He hasn't been touched. He's heading for the sunlight. Now Theismann's his leading blocker. And Joe Washington gets to the 46-yard line. Benny Perrin making the tackle. We don't know if we can even replay that.
No, I don't. It looked like roller derby out there, and we don't know much about that sport. But Washington was certainly smart enough to backtrack and get over in the sunlight where the footing's better. Watch this roll out right by Theismann. Washington's down here. Now watch the defensive players go down. 1, 2, almost 3 of them. Well, 2 down and 1 stumble.
Theismann was afraid he's going to have to block somebody. Did you see that? There's Joe explaining that. Good guys, let's start running right formation. Student body right. It's 3rd down and 7. A big play right now in this 2nd quarter. Theismann trying to get the ball to Charlie Brown. Carl Allen knocks it away. Good defensive play by Allen. Charlie Brown, a star in this league, and one of the nicest young people you'll ever talk to. He sat with us yesterday afternoon and really enjoyed sort of being a little bit the center of attention, didn't he? Real
nice young man, too.
Hayes is back. Hayes is back, and Stumpalina is back there. He's run one back for 80 yards already today and had it called back. So here's Hayes against Mitchell. Good kick, bounce. Ooh, this is going to be tough. It's a great-looking St. Louis punt. Or Washington punt. 2-yard line. The special teams. The Redskins have held run backs to just a little over 4 yards per, the second best in the whole league. And that 53-yarder won't hurt the average.
Has certainly paid dividends.
Yeah, and Hayes had one block that wasn't his fault against New York, but he'd have one of the best putting averages. Anderson's back in there now, tailback, behind Morris. This is Morris's first carry of the day, maybe to the 3. Dave Butts making another tackle. Don't forget, the two teams in Los Angeles, I don't know how long the Raiders are going to stay there, but right now, they're playing in the Coliseum. It's the Los Angeles Rams against the Raiders. Next Saturday, of course, this all begins with the NFL Today, with Brent and Irv and Phyllis, Jimmy the Greek, a cast of thousands back in New York. Lomax, got to be careful. Second down call, inside again to Morris, out over the 5. Olford squeezing there. Boy, what a free agent he was. Walked out of Maryland, got both knees taped up and what have you. He's only 6 feet tall, but he goes about 230, and he is a real good linebacker.
Averages about 10 tackles a game, and he just never stops trying. An overachiever. He'll really get after you.
I like those. I like the overachiever.
Yeah, I do too.
That was always an overachiever that didn't quite make it. No matter how hard. Third down and 7. Dangerous situation. The breeze is coming up a little bit. Even out of shotgun, Lomax got to be careful. Got the time quickly to the outside. Ooh, off the hands of Scott Mitchell. Covered by Kaufman. Malone, I'm sorry. The Penn State linebacker was right there.
Lomax really limited as to what he could do offensively back there with that field position on that drive. The first 2 plays, all he could do was run straight ahead. With the situation, the way the turf is, as slippery as it is all over, he couldn't take a chance of running wide out of the end zone. It could cost you 2 points.
All right, here's Birdsong, the second best kicker in the NFC, kicking from his deep end zone, and Mike Nelms is back. Nelms, of course, one of the better kick returners. It's a low kick, by the way. Going to be a good run back chance. Number 47 has it up front. That's Greg Williams, and good field position right now for Washington. And again, the special team play might decide this game after all.
Birdsong, who had been averaging 45 yards a punt, gets off a short one that time. So Washington now with great field position. And we have a 3-0
championship with Delaware and Eastern Kentucky battling it out in the Pioneer Bowl. NCAA football action begins Saturday at 12 o'clock. With the NCAA today. Delaware, by the way, beat Louisiana Tech 17-0 yesterday. And Bill Frio, my spotter, tells me that young Tilley had 6 catches for Louisiana Tech. This catch by Riggins at the 20. Riggins to the 16. Charlie Baker making the tackle. Oh, a little bit of trouble there. You've got to watch those defensive backs. They're ready to fight all the big fellas.
Carl Allen, a pretty physical little guy out there, too, plays the right corner for St. Louis. But that time, the Hogs, the guys up front for Washington, did the job for Theismann. He had all day. There's Riggins at the end of it. After the catch, the shot that he gives Charlie Baker, number 52, and then Allen's over, and then somebody comes over the top. May comes over the top and picks off Allen. So they're getting after each other down there right now.
And nobody looks out for a cornerback but the cornerbacks themselves. You know what I mean? The outside parts of the field are always frozen, or if it's too wet, they're always loaded with water from the drainage. I don't know why that is. It just seems apparent to most of us. Here's the chain being stretched. It's the first. Riggins picked it up with that second effort.
Extra effort by Riggins, hitting the linebacker and going about 2 more yards.
Few scores. Tampa Bay now has got a field goal, but the Jets have them hammered 14-3.
McNeil's got both the touchdowns in that one.
Also 2 fumbles. Now, maybe he's never seen snow before coming from UCLA. Cincinnati 7, Cleveland nothing in the second quarter. Miami and New England At halftime, it must be a foot of snow there. They played in New England. Monk in motion. Cardinals came. Let's see what it is. Boy, these two teams have been careful with penalties until today. Gets Washington up.
Number 74, offense.
Illegal start by Stark, George Stark.
You know, Briggy, I think it was interesting yesterday when we talked to Joe Gibbs saying that he hires an official for practice and has an official out at his practice every day and calls it just like a game. And he said that it's probably the best investment he has made as the Washington head coach to have that guy out there. He calls the holding, he calls the offsides when they're practicing just like they were in a ball game.
Number 74, offense.
Did you see the size of the flag that Seaman has? That's a bath towel. Must have gotten that at the hotel this morning. There's Joe Gibbs in the right there with the glasses and all. Very fine coach. Used to be right here in St. Louis, but he's the head man his second year. Here's the screen pass to Ricky Walker, the motion man. The flags are down. Ricky Walker storms to the 14-yard line. Dawson in on the tackle back there. Boy, what a hustling job for a defensive tackle to help on that. Walker's a big fella out of UCLA who goes about 235 with good speed. But he doesn't get a chance to catch it much.
Neither one of these teams throw a lot to their tight ends. Warren leads the tight end crew of Washington with 16 catches coming into today's ball game.
They're saying that Art Monk was the one that was illegally using his hands downfield, but they're having a few words, Monk and the officials.
Pass interference. Number 81, offense.
That's who they called it on. Monk is a big physical guy, and both of these cornerbacks for St. Louis will get up in your face and hit you a little bit too, so they're probably going at it a little bit.
Let's see the tackles doing that all the time as a normal work habit, so they figure it's legal. First and 25. Big assist for St. Louis on that one. Back on the 32 now. Inside handoff to Washington. Little Joe to the 25. Lee Nelson coming up quickly from the safety spot. That's a tough place to send a 188-pounder, isn't it?
It is, unless you've got Bostic and May and Grimm up front blocking for you. And the footing's a lot better going that way. He would not have been able to make that little slide move. He made it to line of scrimmage right there had he been down at the other end going in.
This is an awful surface here, even when it's not frozen and wet and everything else. It's a worn-out AstroTurf that is dangerous. It's got creases all over it, and it shortens some careers, I think. Second down and 18. Joe's out of the backfield. Washington takes it at the 19. Is slammed down hard by Williams. Herb Williams makes the tackle.
Williams spent some time with the San Francisco 49ers, was cut by them, picked up by St. Louis. That time Washington came out of the backfield on a little flare pattern and just turned it up downfield. Timed it up perfectly with Theismann in front of Williams.
Third down and 12. Now, you're in Joe Theismann's helmet, Wayne Walker. What are you thinking?
Well, you got Charlie Brown, who scored 6 touchdowns during the season, 16 catches, 6 touchdowns, and he can leap and get it with the best of anybody, so you might just lock up to him.
He's going to the right side. Washington, a very busy person. He's not going to have the first down, but Mosley's going to have a good shot at a three-pointer. Little Joe getting the ball now 3 out of about 4 times. Here comes Mosley. Saved by the penalty flag. Notched his 15th field goal in a row, and is going for 16.
This guy's got a great stroke for a kicker. He really does. A nice, easy forward swing. You know, you liken it to a golfer when you're a conventional kicker, and he's like a machine. He's like Gene Littler. And he knocked that one through, and it was a knuckler.
Wow, a knockdown shot. They all count if they go through, huh? Somebody once said the scorecard doesn't have pictures. For his reaction.
He probably had all the defensive linemen jumping up in the air, and that probably went under somebody's arm.
Look at him. He'll take it, but he didn't like it. There's the kickoff by Hayes. hanging at the 14-yard line. This is Willard Harrell. Boy, a lot of bodies are hitting each other. There are problems just about everywhere. A couple of takedowns and a few points scored. Quentin Lowry made the tackle there. Remember, this is really a playoff game. One team, the Cardinals, 3-2, winning their last 2 in a row over Atlanta, Philadelphia. And the Redskins lost one, but they were undefeated. It's 4-1, and they're heading for the playoffs, both of these clubs. The Giants at Washington. Giants come down out of the Meadowlands. St. Louis goes to Chicago, where Ditka waits. New Orleans goes to Dallas. Boy, that's a tough trip. First and 10 of the 30. The toss. Back to Anderson to the 30-yard line. Now we'll see if he's as effective as he looked like he was going to be when he came out. Because he got hit hard in the head, left for about 10 minutes.
Take an end zone look at this play now, Brookie. We talked about it before. Deerdorf, the center, actually ends up pulling on this after he makes a snap to Lomax. Watch him come right. He's making a pull. Olkowitz, number 52, following him. Now, last time he got the block on Olkowitz. This time Olkowitz stayed a yard behind and played it perfectly. He came in behind Deerdorf to make the tackle.
Boy, pulling the offensive center. You just showed me something I've never seen before, I don't think. Time of possession. The Skids with only 6 points, though, even though they've had the ball a lot. Lomax gets away. He's got the good feet. Now he dumps it. Anderson doesn't quite hang on. He moves. Dave Butts almost had it.
Neil the Eel, they call him here, as you said, Tommy, now, because he's pretty nifty in the pocket. He's a big kid, 6'2", 215. He was a rollout scrambler type guy in college, and he's got very good feet. Watch him move. He saved himself a sack right there, buying some extra time, but an excellent job downfield by the Washington secondary. After Lomax bought him some extra time, they were clamped onto everybody.
So far, his big completion to Roy Green with the diving catch. Other than that, it's been a little bit tough against this Redskin defense. The shotgun. Moving up. Good throw. Oh, great catch by Mitchell. A first down catch. Now it looks like it's fumbled as Malott makes the tackle, but Mitchell says it's going the other way. I think they'll call that a no fumble and a completion.
Well, we've seen a couple of great catches here this afternoon. One by Roy Green, that one right there by Stump Mitchell as he came flurrying out of the backfield. Keep in mind, we just mentioned that Lomax was the scrambler in college, a rollout type passer. He dropped straight back here, but he'll start out of the pocket now. He's getting some pressure from 72 Manley and 78 McGee, and he actually throws that one on the run. But look at that adjustment. He made a 360-degree adjustment to get back and get his hands on that football.
Good play by Stump Mitchell from Lomax. Anderson trying to run that left side. Now he looks like he's got it going. That looks like the Anderson you keep hearing about. A 5-yard pickup, most of it on his own.
Every time Mitchell makes a good play, Anderson comes back in and responds. Mitchell ran the punt back, and then Anderson busted one for about 60 yards, and then they come back and do it again here.
2nd and 5, St. Louis.
Stump Mitchell, number 30. You think he doesn't like to play during the strike? He went down to Georgia, his hometown, and worked out in pads with his high school team.
Anderson cheered the 145 yards against Philadelphia for most of the week, but he began to think about it. They said he began to really start humming again. Now, one of the great running backs, and by far not the oldest. He's got a lot of great years ahead of him. Here's a fake by Lomax. He's got time, a lot of time. Tilly kicks the first one inside the 30. First catch for Pat Tilley, number 83.
Pat Tilley, he's a nifty one, and that's his area, down there between 13 and 18 yards. And if you get it close to him, he will come up with it. Very tough to chuck. He'll always get off the line of scrimmage. He'll always get free. He's got very quick feet. And he'll find a spot in between those zones and just get it to him, and it's money in the bank.
What did Deerdorf call him? The Weasel. They said the offensive lineman. He said, remember when he told us that? He said, did he call me that? But he's a great player. 50-plus. Those numbers tell his story. Tilly could play. Misdirection. Under by Anderson. He went after his own. Let's see. Seaman says the Redskins came up with it. Number 55 came up with that. Mel Kaufman. It hit off Anderson's knee. Big turnover. And the Cardinals have not been fumbling much this year. Only three fumbles.
It came right off the handoff. Let's take a look at it. Lomax misdirection. It hit Anderson on the thigh pad, bounces away. Washington gets another break.
NFL Today starts it off, and then the Rams, they're from Los Angeles, you know, play the Los Angeles Raiders.
Everybody figures that'll be kind of a matchup between Wendell Tyler and Marcus Allen, two great running backs, but you got it figured a little differently, don't you, Frank?
James Garner against Waylon Jennings. Arm wrestling.
Garner sits on the Oakland Raider, there I go, the LA Raider bench.
Great football fan. That should be the battle, I guess, of Los Angeles. That's Saturday right here. Here's Theismann now, 1st and 10 on the 28. Green outside to Joe Washington. He's being very careful in that treacherous turf. Fumbles it out of bounds. Almost the fumble, but the 47-yard line. Still with possession will be Washington. Jr. might have been in on that tackle.
It's a great screen now by Washington. Watch the guard right to your right of Theismann. That's Russ Grimm. Now watch him sit in there and hold it for a long time. The center also gets out, Jeff Bostic. Grimm 68, pointing people to take. He says, you take Baker, I got this little cornerback here, 27 Allen. The ball is stripped away from Washington, and it's out of bounds. Good job up front by the two offensive linemen, Grimm and Bostic, on that play.
Charlie Baker may have forced this, huh?
Yes, he did. He just got his hand on the football.
Joe looks like a juggler going for this one.
And you pointed something out as he was back there in the slippery portion of this field, Tommy, how he minced his steps and how he's very careful as he made his cuts coming around that corner on the screen.
Very smart player out of Oklahoma. He's one of those 9,000-yard guys that plays a couple of years for Blitzer out there at Singerland. Bringing it back to the...
In the last 1 minutes, it goes back where the player fumbled the ball.
Fumble it forward and out of bounds. Goes back to where it was originally fumbled.
That was a rule put in at one stage when they were the Oakland Raiders. In the last play of the ball game, it was fumbled forward about 3 times by guys like Casper and Vanasek and resulted in a winning touchdown for the Raiders against San Diego.
Matt, the coach, acted like he didn't know what it was all about.
Right.
Number 7, to Little Joe, inside, just inside the territory, and a great tackle by Lee Nelson.
You know you've got your heart up in your throat when you're a defensive player, and a guy like Washington comes out there one-on-one. Lee Nelson, the converted cornerback, playing safety, does a great job of it for the Cardinals. Made a good tackle.
2 field goals is all, 6-0. A little over a minute now. And don't forget at halftime, all of the scores, and we'll get to see some of those big plays from other stadiums at the people back in New York at the NFL Today headquarters there. Irv and Brett Musburger. Here's Theismann throwing it either away or almost into trouble, trying for Little Joe Washington again on the far side. That's a dangerous throw.
Well, that's a pretty good play, but it's a good play when you only have to throw the ball about 15 yards. That time he had to throw it about 35 or 40 all the way across the field. It was just in the air too long, and Lee Nelson, number 38, who was down and is slow getting up, had plenty of time to read it and get up in the pile. He put a pretty good lick on Washington, too, who it looks like he's having problems.
I was just wondering if maybe Theismann was trying to throw it away. It looked like the timing had sort of broken down in the thing. It's cold, but it's going to get hotter. 2 field goals is all, but we got a half left. Don't go away. Win for Nelson, number 37.
They're going a strong safety for Lee Nelson, Brookie. He was perhaps their best defensive back last year, and he held out this year, and he was their free safety. When he came back, a rookie, Benny Perrin, had his job, and he couldn't get it back. Still hasn't.
First-round draft choice. Sometimes when you hold out, you never quite get into the sync, you know, with the rest of the team.
And they said the reason that he didn't get his job back at free safety wasn't because he held out. It was just that Benny Perrin, the rookie over there, is an exceptional athlete. We'll talk about him later on in this ballgame. He's worth the story.
From Alabama. Monk in motion. Theismann trying to get down closer to get one more field goal. He's right. Stop back at the 37-yard line as Curtis Greer gets his 6th sack of the year.
We talked about all the loops and stunts that the Cardinals use on defense. Watch this now. Curtis Greer will come in. We keep it rolling. He'll come in from the right side. Look at the loop coming in now. He'll come in right from the right side, all the way from his right defensive end. Came in untouched. It creates confusion with the offensive lineman. He came clean, just like he was on a blitz.
And Elo Grooms went all the way by 2 players to the outside and cut off Theismann the other way. A big defensive charge by St. Louis. We got 49 seconds left before half. National Football League, and our thanks to Joe Washington, our star of this game, who is also pretty good on that spot. Great spot. 1 timeout each for the Big Red and the Redskins. The announcers still have 3 left in case we need them. Stump Mitchell is back, and Jeff Hayes will punt. This has been a duel since the very first kick today. When the Stumper went 80 yards with it, and it was called back. Let's see if Hayes kicks it away from him. Pretty good hang time on this. Mitchell's at 25. Gets to the 30 and is really racked up there.
Well, his record is still intact. He has never called for a fair catch in his 2-year career in the NFL.
A little extracurricular stuff around the pile, and Stump's on the bottom of that somewhere. He's helping people up. A 35-yard punt, a 5-yard return.
This guy is a great asset to the St. Louis team. Last year, of course, set a record, a National Football League record for combined return yardage. Then when they needed him last week against the Eagles as a running back, he came in and caught for 145 yards.
How about 53 straight punts with no fair catch? We got to talk
He's not even in Canada, right?
Shotgun with 40 seconds left. Lomax, a lot of time. He might run with it. Dumps it off to Harrell. Harrell to 40. 45. Midfield and into Washington territory. Good play by Lomax and Harrell for not making the tackle. 22 seconds left. Last Big Red timeout of the half. I love coaches that use the timeout, so our coaches used to save them like they were Kruger runs. You know, at the end of the game, we still have 6 left whether we won or lost.
Well, they took a little bit of time getting that one called. They probably ran about 5 or 6 seconds off before they got that one called. There's 22 left in the first half here. And as you see, the Skins have 1 left. St. Louis does not have a timeout remaining now.
Interesting story, though, since Hanifin has given the reins to number 15 Lomax. They won 4 out of 6 games last year at the end of the season. And this year, they've, of course, gone 3-2. So the adjustment is not an easy one from a great quarterback like Jim Hart, but it looks like it's taking.
Now, Neil said that when he first came here, he really assumed that he would be a backup quarterback for 3-4 years. But of course, if it would have been for 3 or 4 years, Jimmy Hart would have been in his 20th year. So they naturally had to get him in sooner. And he says, I know that I didn't really earn the job here. I know it was given to me. So I'm going to have growing pains. And he hasn't had a whole lot, though, for a young quarterback. He's only thrown 1 interception this season. Jim Hanifin, who's talking to him right now, been very careful with him. 2 weeks ago against Atlanta, he only threw 15 times. As the running game was going, same way last week. They get the running game going, they'll stay with it and work on the short stuff. So he's learning as he's progressing, and he's progressing extremely well.
A nice young man. Don't forget, next Sunday, the NFL Today starts it off. Then it's the Giants at Washington, St. Louis at Chicago, New Orleans at Dallas. Oh, that's 3 good ball games right there. Check your local listings. Here's Lomax, the man that Wayne Walker was just talking about. 22 seconds left. The rush is on. Lomax the time, going to the outside. Terry Steve, I believe it is.
Mike Schumann.
Oh, that's Schumann, your young man who used to be at the 49ers.
Right, and I couldn't tell who was covering him right there, Brookie, but again, he went down on that slippery portion. We'll take a look back there and see if we can pick it up now. Lomax is out of the shotgun. Schumann, a wide receiver who used to be the Dwight Clark player for the 49ers when Bill Walsh first got there. Here you see defensive back on the left. I couldn't pick up the number, went down after Schumann made his cut, and it was a good throw by Lomax.
Jarris White, I believe. Good
That's exactly
pattern.
who it was.
Good corner pattern. Linebackers are making the blitz. Uh-oh, it's on. They're coming. Safety men, too. Trying to figure out who didn't come from Washington. The flags are down. I thought I saw Rich Pettibone in that last one. He's, of course, the defensive coach. Coleman's in there, number 51.
Illegal snap. Center.
Illegal snap. Lomax doesn't like it. Deardorff's going to get into this somehow. Watch number 72. Illegal snap. He's only been about 5 games in offensive center.
I'm not quite sure what an illegal snap means. We'll definitely have to have that one explained to us. Murphy on the safety blitz right there, and it was a good pickup by the Cardinals.
Emphatic. There's Deardorff. Look at this. He's going to plead his own case, the 11-year veteran out of Michigan.
16 seconds.
I think he has to snap it between his legs. Deardorff might have used a little hook shot. I'm not sure.
Let's take a look here now. Where'd it come from? Oh, you can't see. I don't know. It's an illegal snap. We'll try to run it down for you.
He says he likes playing offensive center, though. He's always on a hash mark, he says. For years, he's battled the two tall Joneses in this league and all the big defensive rushers, and to be inside is sort of comfortable for this mastodon.
Right. Number one, he's a great leader, too, for this offensive line, especially with their 2 rookie tackles, Judy Robbins and Louis Sharp, and he's helped them out a lot. And boy, does he think a lot of those 2 big young kids.
They're the 2 best young offensive tackles he's ever seen come in at the same time is rather interesting.
I like what he told you, too, though. He said that playing center now, he says, 3rd and 8's just another down. Don't have to worry about it that much.
They're bringing it down to 16 seconds. It evidently didn't work. Maybe it's frozen. Or maybe Billy Bidwell got a hold of the button. The owner's kept there. The crowd seems to be cheering the reduced seconds on the clock, which is rather interesting. Shotgun tie. First and 15. 6-0 Washington lead. Twist is on. Twist got him. Good stunt inside. Wants to get off another play.
Darrell Grant, I think, was the first one back there. The guy who's making the start for Perry Brooks.
Big move. 8 seconds, 7 seconds. Lomax, 2nd down and 25. Oh, glances off Tilly's hands. That might be the last play of the first.
Officiating, it was
off Tilly's hands. That might be the last play of the first.
Officiating, it was the great running back for the Redskins of years ago, Johnny Olszewski.
Johnny Olszewski was an official?
Yes,
that
he
is
was.
right.
That's a turnaround, isn't it?
Jeff Hayes kicking off. St. Louis fumbles it. Oh, now it's a lateral across by Harrell. Oh, they're going to call it now as an illegal forward because it was not thrown as a lateral. But Dave Steek didn't have much of a chance for that Willie Harrell slider. That's got to be a lateral across the field. It can't be a forward.
Pretty tough day to handle this, too, considering the weather and how cold it is. Now, you don't know whether that fumble right there is planned a little bit, because once in a while when the ball does hit the ground, the team that's coming down will converge a little faster than normal, but this looks like it was definitely a forward lateral. That pass has got to be backward for it to be good.
Looked like a space launch. That baby was cruising. Willie really put the good stuff on that one.
Remember last week when we did the Philadelphia-St. Louis game, and we'll get the call.
Illegal forward pass. Number 39, receiving team.
Harrell actually took a handoff from Lomax out of the shotgun and threw it back to Lomax, who was an eligible receiver because he was a shotgun quarterback for about a 15-yard gain against the Eagles.
Cardinals with most of the yardage. See that 221 to 144, but they also had the 2 fumbles, the turnovers that kept them from going anywhere. Here's Anderson, first play of the second half, breaks out to about the 9-yard line as Butts makes his first tackle. Now the coach is holding up. There's Jamison on the left and Jim Hannafin, the head coach, on the right. Jamison helps him with the offensive situation, but this guy is the one responsible, Mr. Hannafin. Used to be a teammate of mine with the Eagles at one time. He was too intelligent for our ball club. 3-yard pickup. Anderson now with 81 yards on 6 carries. High formation. Inside handoff. Wayne Morris getting an unusual call. Not many carries by Wayne today. Darrell Grant making the tackle.
So there's a real battle going on out there between Dave Butts, the defensive tackle of the Redskins, and number 71, Joe Bostic, the right guard for the Cardinals. Bostic, who is just in his 4th year in the NFL. A lot of people are saying right now that he's one of the good guards in the league, but he definitely has his hands full today. Look at it right here. Number 71, you'll see 2 linemen in the red. That's Bostic working against Butts. Does a pretty good job on him that time, but the play before that, Butts won the battle.
3rd down and 2. Kelly with the first down catch, still on his feet at the 25-yard line, as Malott finally upends him there.
Good catch, good throw. Now, Lomax had Butts right back in his face that time. Watch Butts again to the right of Lomax and Bostic. Now, Butts just gives it a bull rush this time and comes on back, getting some help from Deerdorf. Look at his strength. Look how deep he gets back. Look how much penetration. Lomax had to throw around that big hand that was up and got it to Tilley. And once we said that's Tilley's range again, the intermediate receiver.
That under receiver, so valuable. Every good team has one. That's excellent. 12:51 left in the 3rd period. Cardinals with the ball, 1st and 10. Back to Anderson. Anderson in a hurry this time. Boy, can he do it in a hurry. Out to the 34-yard line. Darrell Grant hanging on there. He's limping a little bit. Remember, he's 224 or 5 pounds. This is not a small running back. He just has the actions of a small back.
Big battles we said going on with Butts and Bostic. Now, Bostic got a little help this time from Big Tootie Robbins. Number 63 coming down on him right here. Now, Butts is fighting this block, trying to get back outside. Anderson cuts it back up inside, away from that area.
2nd down 2. Some replay you had there. Little move out to the 40-yard line is Wayne Morris. One of the most sure-handed runners, I guess, in all of football.
Once he got coming into this game, he had 284 carries without a fumble. And the other big guy over on the other team, John Riggins, had 293 carries coming into this ball game without a fumble.
People you give it to in the clutch. Morris is also one of the great blockers. Man from SMU.
Now, anytime you see Stump Mitchell and Otis Anderson making yardage out of the St. Louis backfield, more than likely number 24 has shown a key block for him. One of the best in the league at that.
1st down and 10. Will Lomax throw on the 1st down? He will not. Outside drive by Anderson. 32 picking his way. Maybe picks up 2.5, 3 yards. Grant again making another tackle. And number 77 is playing very well, replacing Perry Brooks.
We got that isolated battle going on in the middle of the line for you, and it's a dandy. If you want to focus in on it, and if you hadn't, here it is again. And watch Big Butts, number 65, at 295 pounds, work all the way down the line. That is good hustle for a big man, and get in on that tackle.
Used to be a draft right here with the St. Louis Cardinals before he was traded to Washington. 2nd down and 7. Give Anderson 3. Here's a draw, slip down on that funny-looking AstroTurf in the middle of the field, and Dave Butts tends him there.
Yeah, he may have gotten in a seam out there. They got the sliding pits out there. This is the oldest outdoor artificial turf surface in the league. Down a long time, and it's worn and thin.
Some ball carrier, 93 yards on 9. He had a 64-yarder he ripped off the first time he touched the ball in the 1st quarter. Ball was being snapped by Deerdorf on 2nd base in the shot play. Quick drop. Hadley throw, underthrow. I believe caught by Tilley. Let's see if they call it a tap or a catch. It's good.
Oh, we told you earlier, you get it close to him and he'll catch it. Right here, a safety blitz by the Redskins, but the Cards picked it up. Lomax releases, and it's coming right at you. Great camera work, nice replay.
Pretty close catch, but a good one, huh?
On the 46 of Washington.
I don't trust receivers. I'm going to look to you to make sure that yay or nay. Some receiver, 83, shows you can be a small person and play in this game of giants and do very well. Back to Anderson, who waited for the toss. Now gets outside. Anderson quickly inside the 40-yard line. He's still on his feet. Murphy had to get him around the neck to get him down.
That's the play that they ran so successfully the last 2 weeks against Atlanta and last week against Philadelphia. 2 tight ends in the game. One of them comes in motion. That'll be Doug Marsh, number 80. You'll see him across the formation right there going out of your screen. He gets a black. Bostic pulls, and then the other tight end, 89, Greg LaFleur, working on the linebacker there, and has him downfield about 4 or 5 yards.
Anderson over 100 yards now. He has quite a few 100-yard days. I'll get my stats together here and figure out how many. Jets, Tampa Bay's gotten that touchdown at 17-10 now. 102 for Anderson. This is Morris. A little delay inside the 35-yard line, and the flags are down.
You talked about Anderson and what keeps the defensive team off balance are the runs inside by Morris, number 24. He gets the tough yardage for the Cardinals up inside when they need it.
This is the 4th 100-yard rushing day for Anderson against Washington, so he does like to run against the Redskins. Deerdorf is helping Jerry Seaman make his final decisions there.
Well, he may take the penalty. It may mean a yard or 2 more for them.
A couple of 100-yard rushing days so far this year, so 21 total for O.J. Anderson.
The great stat about him, I think, is the fact that since he has been in the league.
Offside
Well, listen
on
to
the
this call.
defensive left side of the line.
Since Anderson has been in the league, he has outgained Walter Payton, outgained Tony Dorsett. The only running back he hasn't outgained in that period of time is Earl Campbell of Houston. And last week was the first game he has missed since he's been in the league.
Yeah, that's right. 52 in a row. 14-10 now. Cincinnati on top of Cleveland. Fumble the ball there. Olkowitz has the ball. Malott calls it the other linebacker. And the Redskins have come up with another one. The third fumble recovery.
Did we jinx Wayne Morris by mentioning the fact that he just got a whole lot of carries without a fumble, 200 and some?
Remember, the ground cannot cause one. Everybody says that now. But to get it away from Morris is a job.
Look at it again, as we mentioned. Wayne Morris coming into today, 284 carries without a fumble. Let's see how this one pops out of there. Hard to tell there. It looked like perhaps like Malott.
Covered it. But that was a lot of carries for Wayne Morris, one of the real underrated football players, I think, in this league.
Had a string at 289 until that last fumble.
So the Redskins are living right. 3 fumble recoveries. Here's the reverse. Wiggins back to Art Monk. Monk jumps over people, and then he's drilled at the 29-yard line. Good defense by the Cardinals. Elo Grooms was trailing it. And Dave Aarons.
A little trickery right here by the Redskins. Herb Williams makes the play back in the backfield, number 42. He'll jump over a player. And then down. Aarons comes in to seal it. But Herb Williams with the penetration that fouled it up originally.
Looks like St. Louis defensive people are a little bit teed off. Theismann going up now for Charlie Brown, who has it. Charlie Brown at the 40-yard line. What a catch. He's out of bounds at the 34. Carl Allen had him covered like a glove, but you couldn't keep 87 from that catch.
Now your heart kind of goes out to the cornerback when he has that kind of coverage, and it's just a perfect throw and a great catch that account for the completion and the yardage. Charlie Brown with the best vertical leap on this Washington Redskin team. Had to stretch for that one. Didn't have to jump too good, but it was a great catch. We've seen several today. From another angle, Brown said that last night we were talking to him, Brookie said that the guy that's probably helped him as much as anybody is David Thompson, the basketball player. Said he studied him. Watching David Thompson helped him learn how to time his leaps for the ball.
Tempo.
There you go.
A 38-yarder. Theismann to Charlie Brown. Now Riggins carries for about 5 yards. Rear makes the tackle. Interesting thing he also told us was how he worked with Bird Lavender, the great experienced secondary man, on his moves. When he would make a wrong move, then Lavender would say, don't do that. I'll be able to cover that from the inside-out position or whatever. Plus, he went home for 4 days during the strike and then came back and threw almost 5 days a week with Theismann and the other people, so they kept their togetherness. Second down 4. Riggins bouncing outside left. Look out. Riggins to the 20-yard line and almost got away. Rooms and Dawson there.
The great thing about Riggins, number 44 out there, is the fact that he'll be coming at you as tough in the fourth quarter as he will when the game starts. He's so strong, so powerful.
First has been Washington, the ball at the 21 of St. Louis.
He's the only member of the Washington Redskins team besides that offensive line that they gave one of those hog T-shirts to. Because he gets some tough yardage and he'll block too.
Number 8, the all-time rushing list, behind Johnson. Monks in motion. Inside handoff. Riggins bouncing, spinning, gang tackling by St. Louis, keeps him at about the 19-yard line. Detroit 30, Green Bay nothing in the third quarter. Alvin Hall has gone 96 yards with a kickoff return. Detroit laying it on Green Bay.
Playing at Green Bay to boot.
Detroit very much in it. We'll be up there ourselves, huh?
Against the Vikes next Sunday.
Good to see. Second down and 8. We've got one right here. 6-0 is not a good lead. The Redskins know they have to get more points. Theismann going to a man in motion. Ricky Walker. He is hit at the 12-yard line and forced out of bounds by Herb Williams. Walker is the motion tight end. They've got Didier, who's also a 240-pounder that can run. They got Big Williams, the rookie, at 240-something.
4 tight ends on the Washington roster, and they're so important in Joe Gibbs' offense that he goes out and works the tight ends out himself. Before drafts, he wants to see what they've got, what they can do. And that's how he found a couple of these guys.
He's got Monk and Charlie Brown. I'd say the Redskins are beginning to build a team that's going to be around for a long time. 44. Look out. Oh, Riggins makes it. Riggins cuts it back inside. Refused to go down. Good gang tackling. They couldn't keep 44 from getting the first. Sub job here.
Oh, he's flat amazing. Just great strength. He's so durable. He needs just a few more carries. He only needed about 28 carries before today's ball game to get over the 20,000 mark in attempts. And there's only been a few guys that have packed the leather more than that. I think 4 or 5 more. And then you're talking about Franco Harris's and Jim Brown's and those kind of people.
Tough yards. 3 big fumble recoveries. And Joe Gibbs and the Redskins are trying to get a nail right here. Big touchdown if they can get it in. Riggins cutting back against Gray to about the 2-yard line. Getting that forward lean.
Did I say 20,000? I meant 2,000. That is a lot, 20,000 carries.
That's how many points Wilt Chamberlain got scoring. You threw me off with that one.
Second and goal,
There the signal's being flashed, and you don't know which guy has got the live signal. But the man in the middle is the one responsible with those P38 dark glasses on. Second and goal on the 3. Power move. Riggins. No, not much. Maybe a yard or half a yard. Rush Brown dug in there.
They got their line in tight. A big offensive line of theirs, which is fast developing into one of the best in the National Football League, and they're just giving it to the big guy down in here close.
They're calling something, I would imagine, lateral, and then give it to number 44. Riggins has 2 touchdowns rushing.
They got 3 yards to go, Brookie. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Theismann roll out on perhaps a pass option here.
Good point. Boy, the Redskins, you're looking for the quick pass. All right, Monk has it, drops it. Can't hold on to it as Herb Williams makes a good play, number 42.
Boy, a great play by Herb Williams. First, Jeff Griffin was out with a hamstring. Worley was playing there. Monk actually had possession, and Williams came over and knocked it away. The third cornerback to play that spot today responds with a big play.
Now the crowd is really enjoying it. Some defensive play. And, of course, here's Mosley, number 3 after his 3rd of the day. Looked awfully good from here. Looked good from down there, too, according to Jerry Seaman. All the points, 3 field goals by Mark Mosley, and 3 fumbles by the St. Louis Cardinals. And they have most of the yardage. They might lose the war, though. Starts it off in the Los Angeles Rams. That's with George Afranieri. Against the Los Angeles Raiders, that's with, of course, Mr. Al Davis. A big ball game, though, of West Coast flavor for the Battle of Los Angeles. Here's the kickoff. Stump Mitchell. Oh, Mitchell is hit at the 17. Good coverage. There's a flag on the field. A flag on the field, but Cronin came down and made a tremendous tackle on Stump Mitchell. Those Redskins special teams are really making themselves known.
54 Cronin used to play for Seattle. He was their special teams captain and a starting backer. That's a 3rd penalty for holding on a kick today by the Cardinals.
I guess if a team's good at staying in their lanes, you're forced to do that sometimes. A real good covering team. And Cronin looks like he'd go over the top for you.
Illegal block during the return. Number 51, receiving team.
Here's Peter Cronin.
Well, he's a hitter. We told you about him. Played for Seattle. Great special teams player. Joe Gibbs has several guys on this team who are just special team specialists, and they sure help.
Division I AA Championship. Delaware, coached by my good friend Tubby Raymond, against Eastern Kentucky at 12 o'clock Eastern time. And that should be really a good football game. Eastern Kentucky, Delaware. Don't forget Scott Bruner came from Delaware. They usually have a pretty fair football program there. The Cardinals with a lot of yardage, no points, and 3 fumble turnovers. And now Anderson gets his carry in this drive. Rich Malott makes a quick tackle. Let's go to Brent Musburger in New York City right now for an update. Brent?
Rookie, this is the play to start the second half in Green Bay. The Packers were kicking off, and Alvin Hall found an alley right up the middle, caught a beautiful block, kind of cut off to the left past Stenerud, and he was on his way. And now the Lions are all over the Packers 30-0. Back to Brookie.
Big bounce back for Detroit after the disappointing thing against the Jets the other night. Lomax with a 3-step drop. Now he should have scrambled. This is when he's dangerous. Underthrows Kelly. Jarris White is hurt a little bit and is on the field now. Number 45 for the Redskins.
It's good pressure up front that time by Washington. They didn't get to Lomax, but they had him scurrying around back there and throwing off balance. He had Tilley open, but couldn't get the ball to him as he threw it short.
Hey, we're going to go ahead and run the play. The cornerbacks don't get any respect. You know, the only friend of the cornerback is the linebacker usually.
And the sideline.
The sideline. 3rd down and 10. A big play right now for St. Louis with Lomax in the shotgun. Deardorf's flying snap is good. Lomax gets away from the lineman, and now it's going to be dropped. Good hustle by the defensive line as Tony McGee, the old Patriot, got another sack. That's his. I believe he had 3.5 coming in. So McGee has 4.5.
McGee, number 78, is, you look at the front four of the Washington Redskins. McGee, number 78, is a guy that Joe Gibbs brought from New Orleans, especially to rush, from New England rather, especially to rush the passer. Just a good second effort. He was working against the rookie Tootie Robbins. Robbins had him blocked to the outside, but McGee got back around, came back into the pocket, and kept hustling for the sack.
Now Nelm, oh, this is a tremendous punt by Birdsong. Nelm back to the 44-yard line. Falls, gets back up. Now he's down. No return. Now the flags are down on the far side of the field at midfield. A lot of extra action. Wayne Morris came down to make the tackle. That was some punt by Birdsong. There's another guy who doesn't know what the fair catch is all about. The signal, I mean.
Nelms has been to the Pro Bowl the last couple of years.
A penalty against Washington. So far today, most of the dangerous and damaging penalties have been against the St. Louis Cardinals. A 50-yard punt. That's from the line of scrimmage, folks. So you can add on about 15 yards.
Personal foul, clipping number 54 receiving team during the return.
That would be Pete Cronin, our special team kamikaze man. It's 9-0 with 1:39 left in the third. Young Perrin, the rookie. The defense has got to get a turnover to get the Cardinals back in there.
No question. Here's a unique story right there. He calls the defensive signals for the Cardinals, and he is a rookie. And that's a tough job when you're a veteran to know what's going on, and he has learned fast.
See a Bear Bryant boy, huh? Here's the misdirection. Draw up to number 44, who barely gets to the 30-yard line. Dawson made the tackle. Let's go to New York now to Brent Musburger and get an update. There's some action that's wild.
Rookie, the Buccaneers have battled back. They trail the Jets by 7, but Wesley Walker gets the Jets to the 1, and now they'll go to their tight end, Mickey Schuler, for the 1-yard scoring pass, but Pat Leahy misses the extra point. 23-10. Back to Brookie and Wayne Walker.
Walt Michaels, the coach, has gotten an offense that's at least as good as that defense with the Jets now. Looks like they're going to be trouble for everybody. Theismann looks downfield and goes for safety down. Ricky Walker to the 39-yard line. E.J. Jr. tackling there. Say, these two teams are sort of scuffling with one another. There's a lot of late elbowing and grabbing their shoulder pads and stealing the ball late.
Ricky Walker right there taking a look at the chain to see if he got enough for the first down. No one knows yet. They're going to have to bring it in and measure. He went in motion that time. Theismann looked downfield. Nothing was there. Walker was out in the flat, and it was an option screen. If it would have been open downfield, he could have gone there. But they were covering downfield, so he went to the tight end for a one-man screen out in the flat. Whether he got it or not remains to be seen.
It's the 15th completion for Theismann, who, you know, sort of insidious, isn't it? Theismann, you don't think he's doing much until you look at his numbers. He's pretty steady at it. It's a first by a quarter of a ball.
What you got to like about Theismann, number 7, as he talks to his head coach Joe Gibb, is the fact that he's just not giving anything away anymore. He doesn't throw that ball where it doesn't belong. He's cut way down on his interceptions and his giveaways. Turned into a real fine leader here in Washington.
He took 7 sacks by Dallas last week and was still firing away at the end. He's a much more durable quarterback than he looks like he is too. First and 10 now in the 38. Monk's in motion. Riggins straight ahead. 42-yard line. Charlie Baker in there again. Seems to be like St. Louis has got to make something happen early in the fourth period to get one touchdown and hope they can maybe get a field goal and win the game. That's going to be the last play of the third period. That's it. With the score 9-0. Washington will change ends. As we said, the St. Louis defense has got to cut in the booth down from us. There's Christian Adolph Jurgensen, the former Eagle and Washington quarterback, a great one. Certainly a Hall of Famer if there ever was one down the road. But
I think he bought that hat or lifted it.
Never one to be caught, boy. Unflappable Jurgensen. Charlie Brown makes the catch to about the almost the 50-yard line. Through the years, I guess Washington has had as many celebrated quarterbacks as anybody. The one presently is Joe Theismann. Well, look at that. Sammy Baugh, Eddie LeBaron, Norman Snead, they used to call him, Sonny Jurgensen, Billy Kilmer, and of course Joe Theismann, the present. Great ones, all of them. Fine people, whether they were playing football or just living life. Inside handoff to Riggins. Linebackers really met him that time. Baker was right in the hole waiting.
You know right now that Joe Gibbs, as we look at John Riggins, would just like to control the football, run some time off this clock by giving it to Riggins, keeping the ball on the ground, not taking too many chances. We'll keep in mind that Washington is moving in the direction of the slippery part of this field.
Big score. Look at this. Buffalo bouncing back now. That's got to be an off track. They lead Pittsburgh 13-0. They're not at halftime yet. John Riggins getting the most room he's had all day. Stays on his feet to the 35-yard line. Finally rushed Brown from behind.
What a horse. What a horse.
And a very tough player late in the game. He begins to get heavier. He plays at 260 late. New England with a 3-0 lead over Miami. They've only got 25,000 plus in New England, the smallest crowd in the history, I guess, of New England.
Big snowstorm there.
Minnesota and Baltimore all tied 10-10. Frank Kush refuses to give, and the Jets, as Brent just told you, 23-10 over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Outside receivers are slotted to the bottom of your street. Here's Riggins inside now as the clock is being used. Opportune. That's what I would call the Redskins today.
You just never see Riggins. You just never see Riggins knock backward. He always picks up at least a yard or two, falls forward for a yard after the tackle.
And Joe Washington came in that second quarter and had a very active, good, productive second quarter. And Mosley got the 3 field goals. Riggins now, by the way, at 62 yards on his 18 carries. Begin to get a little bit of steam build up. Riggins outside. Stays on his feet, still on his feet, with 3 people hanging on. It's going to be pretty close to the first down. He's about the 27-yard line.
Possession football right now by the Redskins.
By the time you get to the fourth period, he becomes as big as the linebackers that are having to tackle him all the time.
Well, you know, he really does have a great body, and he never lifted weights until this past offseason. He went on a weight program, found out he really liked it, and he's perhaps stronger now than he ever has been in his career.
He surprised me that day we saw him have the definition on him. I just always thought he was sort of a big, fast guy, but he's put together like a rock. It was a first down, a big one with just 12 minutes on the clock. Riggins just stole a glance at it. Monks in motion. Theismann quickly going to the outside of Charlie Brown at the 20 if he holds on. No, it's an incomplete pass. There's Charlie. He's had a great catch and another catch on the sidelines, but he's been covered very well. St. Louis has played tough defense.
If they would keep him out of the end zone, it would be the first time all year anyone's been able to accomplish that.
He said that the offense that Gibbs has here is everything is a takeoff. That if you're running a pattern and the defense does something, you've got to go another way and take your route somewhere else. Sure makes it tough to defense a team like that.
Takes a lot of study by the offense and a lot of time to hook up between the quarterback and the receivers.
Inside drive. Clarence Harmon, number 38. Picks up about 4 yards. There's Gibbs on the sideline. Serenas Junior College. He played tight end. Then he went to San Diego State where he met Don Coryell. He set up that offense at San Diego that a lot of people watched yesterday.
Really did. We look at Theismann. Gibbs kind of a mild-mannered guy, but he's a great competitor on the sideline.
A big play for both teams. This 3rd and 6 right here. Theismann, quick drop. Dumps it. Warren inside the 10 to about the 6-yard line, 7-yard line. Boy, Theismann really has things under control. That's exactly what he thought the defense would do.
Warren probably held in there for a while and blocked that time and then released. And that'll shake up a defense a little bit. Benny Perrin, number 23, we told you the rookie that calls the defensive signals. Watch him make the adjustment here now. That's a rookie directing the veterans where to go, telling Herb Williams move up on the roll right here. He starts his drop. Youngster from Alabama came back in and won that free safety spot. Right now leading the team in tackles with 31 and gets part of another one.
Theismann 17 of 24 for 188 yards on a very cold day. Riggins still getting back over the line of scrimmage and picking up a yard or two. Herb Williams was up there early. When Riggins held out the one year, everybody thought he was just a real dollars and cents player. But he's more than that. He likes to play it. He likes to play the whole 4 quarters.
I think he's really proven that since he has been back. The guy has really got great ability. It's just seen trotting off. He got a 9.800 once when he was in high school, so he's not only big, he can fly.
Second down and 7. A little over 10 minutes left in the 4th period. It's a good football game, though. Going for the corner for Charlie Brown, just beyond. Closely covered by Carl Allen. Incomplete. You talked about a vertical leap. He has we asked him yesterday, I said, what is your vertical? He said, 36 inches. Now that's a yard up.
That's getting there. He said he can run a 4.40 also. He said he's never been considered fast.
He must have been in some high school. Down in South Carolina, he said his folks don't get to see him except on highlights, which he's been a big part of this year. 3rd down and goal now. Heisman to throw it. Looking for Harmon across the middle. Knocks away at the 4-yard line. Good defense as E.J. Jr. was there. And guess who will come on? The guy with the big right leg. Heisman holds, of course.
All right, here, Harmon is their big guy out of the backfield in clutch situations. E.J. Jr. right here taking him on the inside move. Number 37, Green, was there also, and Theismann drilled that ball in there pretty hard for a short pass.
This will be a 24-yard field goal. Theismann gets it down. Almost into the Mississippi River. The ball takes the trip. 4 for 4, all 3s on that board. We'll return to the stadium after this word from your local.
Just today, 2 away now from that record.
4 for 4. That right leg, he bench presses with that leg, a squat, I should say, over 500 pounds. He's a big weight guy. His right leg is giving him a real good bank account. Stump Mitchell breaking out. Stump Mitchell to the 36-yard line. Stump electrified all of us with an 80-yard punt return early in the first quarter that was called back. Number 30 is pure excitement. Just a minute. The crowd is roaring as Jim Hart comes in the game. 17 years for number 17. Because as soon as Jim Hart came on the field, the Washington secondary looked like a relay team. They began to all do hurdling exercises and little squats.
He'll use all the field on them, but they've got to be ready to go deep because number 17 can air it out. And we probably won't see as many rollouts and those stashes as Lomax uses. He'll probably stay in the pocket more.
Look at those numbers. Astronomical. Inside drive to Anderson. Trying to get away to the 37. He does. Hoffman there. That's to make everybody play honest, huh?
Wants to get a feel for it. That was his first snap of the afternoon. He trails only the guy in the booth next to us, and Johnny Unitas, for pass attempts and completions in NFL history.
And when he first came to St. Louis, every pass play looked like a screen pass. They had few blockers. He has worn very well. 2nd down and 10. Hart's the quarterback. Hart's first pass. A 5-step drop. Going to the outside. Kelly has it. Kelly still on his feet. Kelly buried now at the 42-yard line. That's Cuban that came up to make the tackle.
Still got the arm, though, doesn't he? That was a great throw. The number 83, Pat Tilley. We got Tilley on the ISO. Now, it's tough to stay with him. He is quick. Makes the outside move, and the ball is right there on the numbers for him. And as we mentioned, Hart was just a 5-step drop, right straight back in the pocket. He's comfortable there.
All field goals. Cardinals have a lot of time still. 8.5 minutes. Hart's the quarterback. Toss back to Anderson. Get him early. Anderson to the 35-yard line. Jarris White, number 45, in there. Looks like Hart has some kind of a sort of a miniature game plan in his mind. It's not like he's not prepared for this, huh?
Well, you know, it's an advantage, I think, to be one of those quarterbacks that come in late in the game. So many of them have been successful. Earl Morrall comes to mind. Strock down in Miami now. You get a chance to sit on the sideline, check the defenses out, get an idea in your mind what you think will work, and then go in there and give it a shot. And there's not a whole lot of pressure on you in this situation.
Good point. 2nd down and 4 on the 35. The toss back to Anderson. Anderson being chased and hit hard by Darrell Grant, one of the best tackles you'll see a defensive lineman make all season.
Well, Brookie, they weren't worried about him playing good in place of Ferry Brooks at the right defensive tackle. They were more concerned about his loss on the special teams. But he has had a fine ball game here this afternoon. 6'2", 265 pounds, and extremely quick. Gibbs said that he runs as well on special teams as anybody's ever had that size. Like number 77 playing in here and then dropping back in. He played some offensive guard even last year.
Boy,
he's a pretty good athlete.
Hit, lift, and drive. Some tackle. 3rd down and 2. 7 minutes now. The Cardinals have to get a touchdown and then come back and get another one. Hart may have pulled away. People fired off on both sides.
Number 17 offense.
Hart pulling away from the center.
Heard John Madden say it yesterday in that ball game. Quarterbacks do forget the snap count sometimes between the huddle and the offensive line at the snap right there, and he did. Watch Jimmy come out early.
You don't think Deardorff's going to tell him about that, do you?
Well, the thing for the quarterback, you know,
False start.
there's no one to ask.
Number 17 offense.
With Jim Hart, you don't know if that's always good to have more yardage to go. I almost like to see him in a 3rd and 4 if I was playing defense.
Number 38 of Washington.
3rd down and 7. You figure he's going to go topside.
He'll throw the backs also. And he's out of the shotgun now with 2 wingbacks.
He snaps up there. He's got some time. Outside. Gets to Schumann on the outside. And I knew he had to throw it over a back and in the right spot to get it there.
And Schumann runs great patterns. I mentioned when he caught the ball earlier in the first half that he was the Dwight Clark guy for the 49ers when Bill Walsh first got there. Clark beat him out, but Schumann was the same kind of guy. He was the guy that went out and worked behind the linebackers, caught those 7- to 8-yard passes that Dwight Clark does now. Schumann has great hands, not great speed, but real precise moves. And that's just a good arm because he really wasn't set to throw that ball and got it there strictly with his arm on a wire.
Good pattern for the 1st down, too. Enough to get it. 2
Schumann
catches.
looks like he took a shot in the ribs there. He's off now.
2 catches for Schumann. 6:04 on the clock for St. Louis. They trailed 12 to nothing. The last shutout was a year ago when the Eagles beat them 38 to nothing. Hart! Good catch by Kelly. If it's good, let's see. Oh, what a catch by number 83, and Jim Hart likes it.
The 3rd sensational catch of this ball game. Good protection up front. Hart's got all day. A great job by the offensive line. And just a super catch here by Pat Tillett. We talked about on one other play that Charlie Brown made on a catch. You just can't defend this. There's just nothing you can do. That kind of throw and that kind of catch.
Roy Green made a great catch in that first half. Tilley with 5 for 75. 5:13 on the clock. Quick drop outside. Roy Green making a diving catch. Hart has only thrown 11 passes, completed 8 so far this season. The quick out move, the 3-step drop. Sometimes receivers look like they're open after the throw, but that quarterback's got to make quick decisions. Hart in control. 11 attempts, 8 completions before today.
It gets tough here now because there's less room to work with.
Long call, inside drive. Looks like a 1st down. Morris is awfully close to the sticks. He had that ball covered up.
Lewis is a guy that they call a gamer, the hardest worker on this team. They do get the first down. This does go for the first down. He's the hardest practice player they say they have. It paid off that time. Second strongest legs on the team behind Deerdorf. He needed them because he got the first down by about an inch.
The clock is still running. They haven't used any timeouts. They're anticipating touchdown here and then have timeouts where they have to get the next touchdown. So the touch would make it 12-7 if everything goes that way. The toss to Anderson. Anderson, smothered at the 5 and hit hard. Olkowitz waiting for him at the pass. Clock is still running. I question whether they should not burn one timeout before that 2-minute warning.
All right, now the Cardinals don't seem to be in any big hurry. Hart was still out of the huddle, just now popped in with the play. So they're taking their time.
Clock is ticking down. Less than 3.5 minutes. Second 5. 5-step drop. Hart put across the mid. Touchdown. Greg LaFleur. Touchdown, his second catch of the year. Boy, Hart got him on the board in good shape. Donahue for the extra point. New ball game. 3:08 left. Suddenly, the Cardinals got their touchdown.
Now, just as much as anything, you've got to credit this touchdown to the offensive line. Watch the time Jimmy Hart has. Makes up his mind 2 or 3 different times. Finally gets it away. 6 points and a ball game. Took him on a drive. All he did was go 5 for 5, 58 yards and a touchdown. Here's the last throw. You'll see him plenty of time. 89 is LaFleur. He was always open. It was just a matter of Hart having enough time to find him, and he did.
Now be careful in this kickoff. O'Donohue has hit the chip shot. He tried one against Atlanta. This time it's a scribbler by the soccer player. Picked up by Nelms at the 19. Nelms, very sure-handed too, gets out to about the 27.5 before the world falls in on it. And now the Redskins are going to have to eat the clock up. There's still 2:58 left. St. Louis is getting hot. It's 12-7. Yard punt return by Stunt Mitchell called back. They had a 64-yard run by Anderson that didn't get him any points. 4 Mike Mosley field goals. It was 12-0. And now the old man on the river, Hart, takes him down for a touchdown. And the timeouts remaining 3-3 with 2:58 left on the clock. Theismann's got to do some work. Handoff. Flea Flicker back to Theismann. Theismann being chased. Just away. He's still on his feet at 25. Theismann run out of bounds at the 39-yard line. Pretty close to a first down as Herb Williams makes another tackle.
Hey, I can't speak for the St. Louis secondary, but I was fooled with that play. I say you got to give it to Riggins and let him burn the time off the clock, and it didn't work out that way. Flea Flicker they went for, trying to get him to suck in right here. Back to Theismann. Great play back there by the secondary, in particular the rookie back there, Benny Perrin again, had it well covered in center field. And Theismann, so resourceful. This is why he is tough. He can make something out of nothing, and he did.
10 seconds on the clock. 10 yards for Theismann. Inside handoff with a trap by the tight end, and Riggins now gets out over the 45.
That's kind of what you figure they're going to do now from here on out. Give it to Riggins, let the big hogs up front, then they call them the hogs. It's not us. Those big offensive linemen clear the way. They want to hold on to the football and take the time off the clock.
The timeout was called by St. Louis, so they've got 2 left for when and if they get the ball back. 2:33 on the clock. A 12-7 ball game. Tension mounts.
St. Louis timeout.
2:33 left in the 4th and final period of what's really a good football game. 2 teams heading for the playoffs and maybe even the pot bowl in Pasadena. Not much time left. Theismann now on 2nd down and 2. to Riggins. Riggins does not get the first down. Hit hard there by Williams again.
He's playing a good football game, Brookie. As we mentioned, the third guy they've had in there today at the cornerback spot, and he's made some big plays. Read that one exceptionally well and came up.
Remember a year ago when these two teams played, one score was 42-21 and one was 40-30 when St. Louis went over and beat Washington. Yet today they've been hard to come by.
Herb Williams, a guy who getting a second chance. He could not make the 49er team. Played a couple years ago for the 49ers, but then when they drafted all those rookies that started in their defensive secondary last year, he was expendable. Picked up by St. Louis and has certainly performed well here this afternoon.
Third down and a big yard. Now you got a 230-pound fullback who's been used a lot. Riggins has
75 yards. Yes, he's having a good afternoon. For 22, the veteran Roger Worley you were looking at there. I'd almost on defense right now. And then, although Floyd Peters doesn't like to use the blitz a lot, Brookie, I don't think there's any danger of the Redskins passing us down. Not this stage of the game. It might be one of those situations where you want to blitz your linebackers, have everybody going in a gap, and really plug things up.
Just pitch it, huh? Everybody
turns into a 7-man line if you blitz your 3 linebackers, and plus if you got them going, perhaps they can get back there and pop the ball loose, make a big play. It's almost worth the gamble here.
Don't forget next Saturday, the NFL Today starts it off, and then the Los Angeles Rams play the Los Angeles Raiders. Obviously, these two teams will be full out because bragging rights of Southern California. Go to the Ginger Man. If you haven't won that game, you can't get ordered. Right? Table by the window, please. Here it is. Here's the short yardage Wayne Walker told you about. Both sides. Riggins has it. Plows through into St. Louis territory to the 49. What an asset to have a guy that's the big horse late.
Well, Washington doing now to St. Louis what St. Louis did the last 2 weeks. Last week against Philadelphia, St. Louis held the ball the last 7 minutes and some. I think Philadelphia had the ball for only 4 snaps in the last 12 minutes of that ball game.
A 2-minute warning comes. The last play, by the way, a big block by Russ Grimm, the man from Pittsburgh. It's 12-7 St. Louis. Don't go away. We got a couple minutes left. Here's the offensive center, the old man that rallies those young rookie tackles, and the 2 big guards on either side of him, Dan Deerdorf. 12-7. The offense would like to get their hands back on that football. 2 minutes left. Riggins outside. Riggins to the 45-yard line. And the one scare that Gibbs had was, gee, we lost to a real good football team in Dallas. Will our team be able to bounce back? I think that's been answered.
I think it has, too. And that time he ran over there to the left side behind Jacoby and Grimm. That's really a power side for Washington. Jacoby, 295 pounds, the left tackle over there, and Grimm at 273, the left guard. So they got the size and the power on the left side to really knock it in.
Don't forget the timeouts for the Big Red are over, and Washington has 3, and I doubt if they'll use any of those. There's Jim Hannafin. He's beaten Atlanta and Philadelphia. Think about this, 2 weeks in a row, and rushed for over 200 yards against each of those superior defenses. It's a pretty good year they've got. They caught San Francisco right after the strike, which is a pretty tough way to get your secondary back together. There's Stump Mitchell. How would you like to take out Anderson and have Stump Mitchell, or vice versa? Right now, it's the Redskins' time. They would be 5-1. The numbers on Joe Theismann. Not bad, Jose, huh? 2nd down and 7. 1:53 left. There it is. Riggins getting outside, coming everybody inside. Junior makes the tackle. Almost a first down.
Great ability, especially for this stage of the ball game. A big power up the middle if he wants it, and he's still got the speed to get around the corner.
The field now is one big shadow. The sun is long gone behind the arch and down over the river. And it is all cold. And they're entering the area now, which though is still sort of wet and probably frozen. That's to the right side of your screen. signaling that Dave Aarons did recover a fumble, but can the ground cause a fumble?
Second life right now for the St. Louis Cardinals as they'll take over from just about their own 40-yard line with 1:02 left. Here it is again, the handoff to Riggins. He had the first down made, battling for extra yardage. He's up and over the top here, has control. Had control when he hit the ground.
That's no fumble. I hate to second-guess the officials, but why not? It's 1st and 10, a big opportunity for St. Louis, and they've had some bad ones today. Maybe they can take advantage of this one. Underthrown, bounced away. Intended for Marsh. Stumpf Mitchell, pardon me, in the right flat. It looked like that ball was under control, though, till he did make contact with the ground.
That's the thing. They're down there a little bit closer than we are and that our cameras are, and that's the point. The ground is not supposed to be able to cause a fumble, but if he's juggling the ball while he was going down and it came out, then it would be a fumble. But it looked from us that he had it tucked in pretty well.
Remember, the Cardinals had 3 fumbles go the other way. They lost 3 fumbles. The Redskins came up with it. You live by the sword, you sometimes die by it. 2nd down and 10. Hart's first incompletion. Now he's got some time. Going to the outside for Schumann. Almost intercepted, knocked away by Jarris White. Quarterbacks, and I don't say that meaning they're really old for normal people, but old quarterbacks are like old gunslingers, aren't they?
Yeah.
They've been in these situations a million times, and they'll kind of pull one out and remember one pattern that they beat somebody on 2 years ago or what have you. A lot of experience. A lot of big third down calls in that career. This is a good one here.
St. Louis.
37 seconds. 46, you got it. Outside to stop the clock. That'll take care of that. No catch, but stops the clock. Schumann.
Or Schumann going out of bounds.
Don't forget tonight on CBS, 60 Minutes, Archie Bunker's Place, Gloria, the Jeffersons, you gotta love that show. One Day at a Time, and Papa John MD. Tonight on CBS. It's been some football game.
It's been a good one. It has been a high-scoring game, but it's been up and down. We've seen some great runs, some absolutely outstanding catches today, especially in this kind of weather.
2nd down and 10. Jim Hart. Going quickly, being rushed, Pricing, pulling inside to about the 27-yard line. Joe Lavender making the tackle. Hart knows now he's got to really work fast. Get everybody back up. 12 seconds. Out of bounds, stop the clock. The shotgun. Hart not wasting one. Now to stop on the incompletion. Stumpf Mitchell sliding. That's great. Experience. Teacher.
Yeah, he's not sweating it at all out there right now. He's in pretty good control of the situation, and there's not much of a situation to have control of because there's only 6 seconds left in this, as you can see.
Hart made a motion toward Hannafin and Jamison. You can see Jamison in the near ground and about spreading things out. Now he's going to. He's got a trip formation to the left, to the bottom of the screen for you. Going for the end zone. Roy Green jumping. Knocked away. And that might have been it. That's the end of it. Players on both teams coming out. The final throw. Boy, what a comeback.
And he scared him.
Oh.
He did scare him.
Look at this. Each one knows. Today you win. But I've been there a lot. 17-7. Final score here was not 17-7, it was 12-7. really a good football game, much more offensive than that score might indicate. 4 field goals, but a fourth quarter St. Louis touchdown pass to Greg LaFleur from Jim Hart brought us right to the brink. Wayne, your opinions right now?
Well, Briggy, my opinions they don't necessarily have to do with this ball game, although it was a great ball game. The two coaches that we just saw right down there, Jim Hannafin and Joe Gibbs, we've done a couple of their ball games this year. I'm tremendously impressed with them and the staffs they put together and the job they've done with two teams here. They are on their way up, no question about it, both the Cardinals and the Redskins.
Here's the final play of the game, a trips left formation shotgun. Hart with about 3 seconds on the clock.
Well, and he got what he wanted here, too. They throw it down there hoping they'll get a deflection. It'll bounce around and something good will happen for him. He threw it into the pile. Did get the deflection here, but it hit the ground.
Good defense.
We've seen this so many times over the past few years where a deflection will happen. The offensive team will come up with it at 6 points. It did not happen this time, and we'll go back to number 17 who threw it right here. And he's not happy, but it's not the end of the world either.
And Mark Murphy is 6'4", and Richie Pettibone probably is going to start breathing again for Washington.
Exactly.
Remember, the last game of the season, the makeup game on the 2nd, is Washington entertaining the St. Louis Cardinals. Boy, that's got to be a